into winter. Continue who he is, continue to build, his base, build his leadership, and then now he's got to take that in the spring. So all the great things you do prior doesn't mean anything if you don't go out there and do it in the spring. So that's the harsh reality of this sport. What have you done lately? And I think all these guys are chewing at the bit to get back on the field.
Brian, everybody brings their own experiences, right? Ryan was a quarterback, you were a receiver, and then to become a play caller, obviously you have an understanding of the whole offense. But what was the process like for you of protections and the run game and quarterback play and just continuing to grow with your knowledge of that part of the game as you prepared for this position?
Yeah, I think you're always growing. I think that, you still have a specialty or you still have an expertise in one area. To assume you have an expertise in all of it, that's just not true. In my opinion, I've seen multiple coordinators, and I know that as a fact. So, for me, I think it's just you have an opportunity to be with the best staff in America every single day, with the best head coach in America, to just stay off your phone and pay attention and take notes and actually maximize your time. It's amazing the amount of people that don't do that. So every time I'm in a meeting, I just try to make sure I'm getting a nugget or I'm getting information, or when things are said, do I truly understand it? And I really, the guys will tell you, I don't care. I'll ask the question, and you may think I look dumb, but I don't care because I want to know the information. So I think that approach, I think a lot of guys have that approach. That approach allows you to just build, over time, and then that'll continue to build from now to game one, and then it'll build through the season. So the opportunity to grow is literally daily. So I just try to make sure I'm finding those opportunities, or I'm aware of those opportunities when they're right in my face.
The makeup of
Coach Jordan's always been a huge part of the receiver room. I think that, he's just understanding that my pull away is real, that can happen. So he's got to be on his toes and being ready that we're ready to not skip a beat, right? So information wise, communication wise, he's got to be locked in on that and just not assume that Coach Hart's got it. He never really has. I expect him to continue to do that, and he's been a big part of everything we've done.
Is that almost like taken from what Ryan did last year, where he shifted away from play calling and handed that to somebody else, and shifting away from being a quarterback's coach, where you have to have somebody you trust? And how long did it take you maybe to develop that trust, that relationship with Devin, to where that, hey, if I'm pulled away for a second, Devin's got this, and I don't have to worry about what my room is.
I think it's more important that I do a great job being organized, so I'm never pulled away. I will be in that receiver room, and they will be coached at the very highest level. So I think there's ways to eliminate being pulled away by being organized, on top of things, and having the right work and right help before that receiver meeting ever happens.
Is that important for you? That's why you kind of emphasize nothing's going to change in terms of your dynamic.
Nothing's going to change in my involvement in the receiver room.
Brian, for Milan to be going through a full spring, full off season for the first time, what do you look at are the biggest areas he can grow to push for playing time this year?
Yeah, Milan is he's doing a great job. He's growing at an exponential rate. He's getting stronger. He's getting bigger. He's got weight added. And I was going to tell you, I always explain to him, you don't realize how much you've missed when you come in June versus a mid-year. It's massively different. Not saying you can't overcome it. Some do at the end of the season. Some have. But I think that's probably reliant on the room. I know Chris had an opportunity late Olave, in the season to kind of make an impact, but it's very, very rare. So, and now, he's going through the winter workout, his growth, his everything he's done. He's like, hey, Coach Hart, I know what you're talking about now when you missed that section of winter workout. So, that being said, it makes you laugh, but he's doing a great job. I have high expectations for him through spring, and I don't see that changing.
The offensive staff this year is younger than it's been in past years. What do you think of the makeup of that? You don't have somebody who's maybe.
What's the average? It's the average
30.
Is the average age? Does that include support staff?
No,
just the primary.
Gotcha. What's it been in the past?
Couple minutes, folks. 2 more minutes.
Huh?
Higher.
No kidding.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Kevin Wilson.
I don't know. Dan Lanning's the head coach at Oregon. How's his average? I'm asking.
I mean,
I know. I'm 38.
Kenny Dillingham was in his 30s in the
So
OC for a year.
I
got a
really
head
don't know.
coaching
I
job.
gave zero thought to that.
Yeah.
I think that I think your ability to connect with players is important. I think you probably see a little bit of that happening in the NFL as well. I really have given zero thought to that, so I don't want to just ramble on that.
Yeah, I just didn't know if he saw it as an advantage or
I don't know.
or
No,
helpful.
no
or-
thought to it.
Brian,
Hey, you've
with,
wor- you've worked-
Bryson, what's the next step for him? Because we've heard Emeka talk to him about like being Mr. Consistency, catching a lot of things. Like he seems to generate a little bit of buzz, but has limited role. Like now he's got an opportunity. What's the next step for him to get that opportunity?
Take the next step and be everything he's capable of being. Right. I mean, I think the guys that are out there are very consistent in all job phases. Again, I think he wants to be a full-rounded receiver. He knows that. I think he loves playing in the slot. Did a great job there. I asked him to come out to the outside a little bit. Did a good job out there. I think his natural position is in the slot. Doing a great job there. But it's just another opportunity to establish himself based on his peers, right? I mean, it's kind of like the draft. I try to explain sometimes to these guys, like, you come to Ohio State to compete with the best and be alongside the best. It's always peer-to-peer evals. Like, that's how it works. Like, the draft embodies that. Like, if it's easier to go play somewhere else, then that's fine. If that's what we're kind of looking for, per se. I'm not saying that's Bryson. I'm just saying it's a very competitive room, and you chose that because of this room. Now you got to beat your peer to play more, and do more, and all that stuff. So, I think that he's got to continue to build where he's at, and the guys that seem to be, starters in our room, really, I think over the last 8 years have been NFL quality guys. So if you end up becoming a starter at Ohio State, there's a good chance you're probably an NFL caliber receiver. I mean, again, I'm just going off the numbers. So you're chasing that. Can't get discouraged on maybe not being, not doing what you think you should have done. And that goes for everybody. It's not just Bryson, but all these guys are chasing that, as I ramble about Bryson. But, I think that it's not just him. It's at BI, it's Carnell, and everybody is chasing a higher level of play. And this spring is another step forward to do that.
What's your
You've
impression of the freshman
you've
college?
worked under multiple play callers. Like, how much, in your estimation, is that a gift to be able to do it, and how much of it is learned, and where do you stand on that?
Never gave it a lot of thought to it. I've never called a play in a game. So for me to have an opinion, I think that'd be a little brash. I would say that, like anything, it's probably a skill that you can improve on and do better at, and do good and do worse at. I think being surrounded with guys and seeing how they do it has been a blessing. And it's very clear there's more than one way to do things. So being aware of that, I've noticed that.
What's your impression of the three freshmen and how they maybe transitioned here?
Yeah, all four freshmen I'm like very encouraged, impressed with. They carry themselves the right way, like we have hoped. They worked their tails off. They've all improved. I would say that they're the right mold. They're the right fit. They belong in the room. And now they have to just improve. Now they're competing both, first individually between each other. And then, as we get into spring, they'll start competing against each other with the rest of the guys, is what I mean by that. So, but as a group, the freshman group, very impressed, and they're off to the right start.
Great. Coach Hartline, thank you very much.
Thanks.